Hello, my name's Joshua French. This is chapter 5 of the Forgotten Game video book, and it's about research to back up some of the ideas that the forgotten game is a useful thing and a good thing. Now, one of the research things is about the upward spiral of positive emotions, and I was reading a research paper by Fredrickson and Joyner about this, and there may well be other people who've looked into this. And to sum up, I hope I explain it correctly, to sum up, they've discovered that someone who feels positive emotions now is much more likely to feel positive emotions in the future and have a better life. Why? Because a positive emotion broadens the mind, unlike negative ones which narrow it down and make us fixate on things, and makes us more likely to seek playful, novel approaches to solutions, so makes us better problem solvers, and makes us more resilient in the face of adversity. And so, as we move through life, we spontaneously deal with problems better, more flexibly, and things seem to work out better for us. Now, this is a bit like when you're playing the forgotten game and life seems to get better when you're playing life as if it's a game because you're enjoying it. And there's another phrase, the law of attraction, which makes many people recoil in horror because it's so unscientifically backed. But really, the common sense of it, if you think happy thoughts, life seems to get better. It makes sense. It would, because you're seeing things in a more positive perspective, so you're dealing with things in a more positive way. So that's one thing. And another is quantum mechanics. And the possibility, this is quite exciting, very exciting, that we are living in a virtual simulation. We're living in a virtual world. Wow, like the Matrix or something like that. Sounds far-fetched, but even though I'm not an expert at quantum mechanics, this is something I've learned. There's a really good YouTube video that explains this experiment with particles, tiny particles being thrown through these slits and blah 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 blah, but the long and short of it is that when a camera was trained on the particles, they would go through the slits and form a certain pattern, which is what we would have expected them to form, but when the camera was not looking at them, the particles would not form that pattern. So it was almost like these particles didn't really have a definite state before. It was only when they were being watched that they assumed a certain manifestation. Now that's strange, to think that the stuff that we are made of doesn't really have any actual basis of or fundamental state until it's being watched or not. Now the way that to me fits in with the simulation theory, and I'm sure I read this somewhere, I'm going to name some researchers in a minute, but I can't remember who said this, is that if you were going to create a simulation that was the size of the Earth or the size of the universe, you'd need a huge amount of processing power to do it. It'd probably be impossible. But if you were going to make a simulation where actually it was like a hologram really, and only the bits that could be seen needed to look real and everything else didn't have to, that it would cut down on a lot of the processing power. So everything was really not really there until you looked at it, and then yes, it had to form what we expected to be there. And that kind of fits in with the fact that the particles around us and that we're made of don't have a definite state until they're looked at. Now, I'm sure there are improved ways of explaining quantum physics, but that's just one of the things that I liked to think about when I was thinking about the virtual reality possibility. So, Nick Bostrom had a paper about this. He's an Oxford professor or something, and Lord Rees and Dr. Gates. I will be honest, I haven't read all of these things, just bits and bobs, and there's plenty of stuff on it, and there's articles on Huffington Post and the Telegraph websites and stuff. If you type in life is a simulation theory, you'll see all this sort of stuff about it. But when I was in St Andrews, in Edinburgh, near Edinburgh, And I really had this clear sensation that I was inside a video game. I just can't explain, apart from just tell you, how real that seemed. And I know it sounds far-fetched, but it really felt like the truth at that moment. And I was reading an article about this simulation theory, and about how in video games there's this thing called the golden thread, or the golden path, which is like the idea that even though it seems like you can walk into different rooms in certain games and you can do all these things and you're totally free, it's not fruitful until you're actually on the right path that gets you through the game. So the game constantly nudges you in the right direction to make it a fun, challenging and fulfilling experience for you. So there's a game called Secret of Monkey Island, which I used to play when I was younger and I loved, and you could just wander around the island and not do anything much apart from explore and chat to people, but you had to realise that you had to gather up these insults that you would then use to have a insult slanging match with some pirates, so you could then win a prize that I think got you a ticket to get on a boat or something. I can't remember exactly, but the point was you wouldn't have got anywhere, you wouldn't have explored any further unless you did the things you needed to do. And I think that that is intuition. I think that when you have this intuition to do something, you are being nudged on the right path to get back on your most fulfilling life journey. So, if it was true, I'm not saying it is, but if it was true that we were in a simulation, why are we in it? Maybe we're being educated into being better beings somehow. We need to live this struggle on this planet to better ourselves. Or maybe it's like the Matrix, and actually machines have taken over us and put us in this virtual reality thing so we don't realise that we're being used. Or maybe, and this is my feeling, it's that we are consciousness itself and we enjoy the play, we enjoy the experience. So we come down, inhabit these characters, explore this world, forget on purpose the true place we came from, so that we can then enjoy the journey back to remembering the game and remembering the joy that is our birthright. I mentioned The Matrix, and there's so many other films coming out at the moment. Just in the last decade or so, there's been The Truman Show and Synecdoche and Avatar, Existence, 13th Floor, Inception, and Cabin in the Woods. Lots and lots and lots dealing with this virtual reality scenario. Why? I feel it's a sign of the times that we're moving towards a realisation of our true state. And as I have mentioned with quantum physics, science is starting to realise the possibilities of this. And a lot of the ideas in ancient religions, for example, Maya in the Hindu religion, it talks about the illusion, the veil of illusion, and the reality behind that. So I really feel like it's time for us to start to realise that. Maybe I'm right, maybe I'm wrong. But either way, enjoying life as a game is great for many reasons, whether you believe these theories or not. Thank you for watching, and that's the end of chapter 5. Bye.
It may feel so real inside, but don't forget.